All right, let's get cracking. So today is episode 41, Making Money with Emails. Anthony, introduce
41,
yourself.
man. Anthony Angelillo, branch manager of the Tag Team, Paramount Residential Mortgage Group over here in Miami Shores, CEO, founder of Tag Team Nation, and co-host of Damage Control, top originator of the year. And today is going to be fun, man. There's a lot of stuff that we're going to go into, so stay tuned. With that, Melinda.
Hi, everyone. Melinda Grimaldi, your real estate and title attorney and co-host here on Damage Control. Lots of good stuff cooking for today's show. It's kind of like a part 2 of last week, right?
Yeah.
Because last week we talked about CRMs, good data in, good data out, setting that up for your business. And now hopefully you guys have, gotten that going. I want to know, has anyone taken any action after our last episode? I hope you have. I hope you've taken one thing. Please share in chat if you have or haven't, and what you plan to do next. Because really, once you set that up, most of these CRMs and platforms give you the infrastructure to do these types of emails and things we're going to be talking about. So I hope you guys got that started. In an event, we will keep you going and hopefully you'll be making some adjustments moving forward. So first and foremost, I want to kind of let you guys know how we use emails to grow our business. So Anthony, why don't you share a little bit about what you do, how you do it, without getting too technical or anything, but give them how you use emails in your business.
So you just said something that struck me. We did talk about CRMs, and this is actually perfect that we're segueing right now into emails and drip campaigns and whatnot. The way we use automation is in several methods, and it is either a lead capture automated email, or it's a call to action, or there's objection. Okay, emails that we use to try to rebuttal situations with clients or possible real estate agents or listing agents, whatever the case may be. But the way we automate, the primary use of the way we use emails is to obviously get more exposure with damage control, okay? Or in this case, our milestone process. Those of you that have worked with us, and myself and Melinda, we believe in, using BombBomb and, all of the necessary tools that produce video content, and then that email then educates and informs the consumer throughout the milestone process to avoid what we spoke about in Clubhouse this morning, any issues that we know that always come up, and questions and concerns with buyers. I feel like if someone can watch a YouTube video, right? How many times have you watched a YouTube video to figure something out? That's the concept of these emails that we use them for. So for me, it started with simply just saying, all right, I wanted emails to inform and educate. Then I put video into it. And then obviously now it's text message capability as well. So there's different layers to all of that. But you first have to organize all of that first. And we spoke about that in the last episode is creating lists before you import into CRMs. Because you just don't want to randomly send out emails. You need to know your audience, and you have to target your audience specifically.
Yeah, super, super important. So for myself, I have lists past clients. I have lists realtors. I have lists for lenders. I have lists for people in the finance and like CPAs, financial advisors, insurance, people who sell insurance. I have a list for that because I don't know why, but I'm just building that list because I know one day I'm going to need it. So just tagging people and creating these lists, because you could, and then I have one for business owners. I have like a massive list that I had before I started that is just like a big mishmash of everything. So depending on what I'm doing is who the list goes to. Due to the type of bit, like in the timing of when I come into play in a deal, most of my newsletters or emails or whatever are targeted to real estate agents, because in terms of the marketing side because that's how my business is structured. So how I use it, I really don't like to write the emails. Like I know some people in my business, they'll write it. I rather just do a bomb video because I'm more likely to execute it because I'm not afraid of video. So you got to find out what works better for you and just start doing it. Right. So for me, this year and last year, we picked up the momentum of doing that. So when I'm talking about Homestead or when I'm talking, like if you're one of my referring agents, if you haven't already, you're going to be getting a bomb email from me asking you for a Google review. And then on top of it, it's going to have, if you're not doing this for your business, you need to sign up for my Google business review structure class that I did. It was a webinar and I had the link to the webinar so that you could learn to do this for yourself. So there's different ways you can use the emails, but I'm always trying to provide a piece of value, whether it's like come to this class or a reminder there's this, etc. So because you want people to open your emails, right?
And now, and let me go into that. So the whole concept of the metrics and I was gonna say metrics of all of the analytics, that's the whole concept of the emails. And I feel like emails in the past were the way to communicate and to physically get business, right? And now we've got so much tech out there that there's Slack, there's DMs, there's social media, there's Clubhouse now. There's so many things that, right, emails now have gone down to 26%. People are actually reading them and skimming through them. So if you have a CRM, this goes back to our old episode is to take a look at the CRM and then look at the analytics. So we review the analytics for damage control emails, and we know what people like and what they want based on our polls. So that is analytics that we need to know. Whatever they dislike, we'll see, and we don't want to go down that road. So it's really believing in what you're preaching and the content you're producing as an agent or as a lender or title agent, and then reading those analytics and saying to yourself, all right, where do we improve in terms of our content? Is it the video? Did they not click on the videos multiple times? Most CRMs have this, whether you like it or not. It's not trying to get too techie, but if you're using a good CRM, they should have tools that show the analytics of who's opening it, the impressions, who's skimming the emails. That is extremely important because otherwise you're doing like a shotgun approach. You're just scattering out and whatever hits, and you have no clue what works. It's funny, we just had YPN last week and Tessa Bella, she's going to be on our show for March Marketing Madness. I don't know if I should have released that or not, but bottom line is she was talking about her doing her hair, I think it was, or in sweats, I think it was, or a hoodie, something. She got more hits on social media. So I don't want to sit here and say, we know the content, we know what works and what's the best. We all have different businesses and our models are different. So it might be more relatable on an email that might not even be directed towards real estate. Maybe it's a holiday email with a video that's a passionate, email about thank you for doing business with us, or a past client email that you speak with conviction, right? And you'll get a lot of feedback from that from past clients. And now you've miraculously have a couple deals underneath your belt because of that email. So you got to really sit down and you sit with your peers and the people you do your marketing with, or maybe you don't have that and you're just setting up your first email drip campaign. You really need to know what you guys are really talking about. Okay, that's extremely important.
And that goes into planning your content out, right? So we talked about this in January when we were talking about building out your marketing plan. Like, so I know for myself, every 2 to 3 weeks, a bomb goes out with what's cooking for, like, what am I up to, right? It's like about what events I'm doing, what trainings I'm doing, webinars, what's DC doing, like, and that's to the real estate space. Then I know, okay, I'm going to send a reminder to all my buyers from last year to apply for Homestead in February. I know that I'm going to send probably some holiday related emails throughout the year. And then, but I don't even like to do that. To be very honest, I'm going to tell you, I don't like the holiday emails unless there's something of value to it. I don't like to send emails like wishing people Merry Christmas. Not that I don't want to do it, but I get bombarded by them and it really annoys me. So I am not an Uber emailer because I have this insane system of how to, I have my assistants like totally unsubscribing me to everything. So I want to make sure that my emails have value because I really hate emails. And Anthony knows this, like, how do I manage the beast of this situation, right? Of these emails. So I always,
there was an automated email. There was an automated email, folks, just for you guys to know, for the record. And Melinda yesterday, take me off the automated email.
I don't want to get texted personally. I don't want my personal email to have any. I just want the team email to have the notifications about the process of the deal, because it eats up all my time. So I'm very mindful of that when I'm sending emails. Okay, so there has to be some value. There has to be an invite. There has to be something of substance. I know when we were in some strict quarantine last year, I was giving market updates and how the real estate industry was adjusting, and I thought that was super valuable. I got some great feedback on that, and then I repurposed that video and I was putting it on social media for people who weren't on my mailing list. So thinking of different ways to repurpose what you're doing. As a real estate agent, it's different. Your audience is not my audience, right? My audience is professionals, people that are in either the real estate business, the legal business, things like that. That's really who I'm sending to. I don't really market to buyers and sellers directly, because they're not really the people who hire me. So understanding who and why you're sending emails is super important, because you need to have a purpose, right? You don't want to be just having people unsubscribe because there's no purpose to that email. So don't send, depending on what you're marketing to. If they're like past tenants, don't send, are you renting, to your past buyers, right? You're like, or to your listing people, because you know that the converting a renter to a buyer, that's a specific type of email, and that shouldn't be going to people that are not part of that list. Maybe you could do a general one saying, hey, do you know anyone who's renting? I'm doing, if you introduce me to someone you're renting, I'm giving a $5 gift card.
Yeah,
something like that, right? You got to find value in that, in the request.
So here's a true story. I spoke every morning at 8 a.m. I speak to my marketing team. They're obviously outsourced, and we spoke about the documents that we receive uploaded. The documents that we receive uploaded are from a co-borrower, and I noticed right off the bat, I said, look, there's no name here. How are we going to prioritize this to target market them, to send them an email to confirm that we received documents? Granted, there's a text, but we still want to target that email, and we don't have any specification on the list. And that's what Melinda's talking about. You need to break down lists. Like MailChimp has that. And if you guys don't use MailChimp, I would highly recommend it. It's not what I use, but I think it's a great tool, and it will break down your list. Lo and behold, now we put the comment that, it's a co-borrower. So we have, 93 co-borrowers that we're going to target now, and specifically make sure that they understand that we received documents. It's things like that to break down how you're really functioning as a business. I want to make one more comment on the templates. Very important that you guys understand what a template is versus an email. All right, a template is going to be pre-populated. And I know this sounds crazy and everyone's like, dude, we know what a template is. There's call to action templates. And I got to say, I probably get more feedback on the condo template that we use. So if a buyer's agent calls me and says, hey, I'm looking at an approved condo, I know from soup to nuts, I know exactly what we need for the condo. And I know exactly the process for the condo. And I have an approved checklist, for that condo. I have a formula to calculate liquidity. I've got video. I mean, it's a deadly template, but for me to compose that template every single time someone asks for it, I'd be here all damn day doing one damn template. So I've preset it. It took me 2 hours to make this one template, but now it's just boom, one click, template goes out. Thank you so much. There's so much value in this. So that right there is where I would start. And then you can take that and repurpose that content into automation when you
so really... let me pause you right there. So 50% of you on the poll put that you just use Google or whatever other form for your emails. That's okay. That's a good place to start. Google has a template functionality.
Yeah.
When I first started, I use this a lot. So we housed a lot of our templates. Like basically when you're drafting an email, there's a little arrow somewhere towards the bottom where you click it, and then you'll see templates, and you can pick which of your templates are there. So whether it's in your deals or in life or in your sales and marketing, there's things that we are doing and redoing all the time. So just as a matter of productivity, it's a great tool to build out these templates.
Yeah.
But I have, like, if someone asks me, what are your fees? How do you work, whatever, I have a template for that, right? I don't send it out as an automated thing, but I have it ready to go. And then when someone does it, even if it's in the DM, I screenshot it, send it to my marketing assistant. She prepares the email for me to review, and then I personalize it. So, or you could have it in the drop down, like, how do you work? Like, then we have links to this calendar and all that stuff built in. So the point what I'm trying to make is that that's something that I get asked all the time. So you build a template out, you spend a little time, and you save it in somewhere. So we used Evernote for a long time to save all our templates. Why? Because even though they were in Google, I lost all my templates once. Google they all went away. I don't know what happened to them. And then I had to rebuild them all because I didn't have them stored somewhere else too. So start building the emails that you send and resend. You don't even have to build them. You can just look at what you've sent, tweak it, make it even better, add a few extra things, and then you know what you got to do. So building up those templates of things you're doing and redoing, and spend time doing it nice, some good content, some good wording, some good images, some video, whatever you like. So it's ready to go for future. And then once you have that, like Anthony said, some of those can be used to build out a drip. Some of them can't. But at least you have that, and to automate and systematize, it's not going to be automated, but it'll be systematized in the sense you have it already ready to go, and you just copy and paste.
Yeah.
Makes sense? I hope that makes sense.
No,
so that's templates. Then when we talk about automating, you really got to that's like the drip almost, or like, I would say more for you guys, it's going to be more of a drip campaign that you're going to automate. With when you meet, let's say, a buyer for the first time, you could put them on this series. That's what a drip campaign is. Like, you apply a sequence of pre-made emails to be sent during a specific interval of time.
And there should be emails. Now, those of you're probably saying, man, this is so much. It's not. You've got to take it in stages.
Mm-hmm.
And so if I'm an agent, all right, I'm going to focus probably on my past clients first, all right, because I know I'm going to monetize that quicker, and I'm going to get a faster rate of return on that. So then I would break down that, all right. But then I also would probably want to speak to, lead capture form emails. But where I'm going with this is that I took it in stages, and I broke it down and I really broke it down and defined cash buyer, all right, nurture, someone who's got bad credit, someone who wants a roadmap to home ownership that we know is a deal, but has a bankruptcy and if there's a discrepancy. So I know that I'm going to drip that person and have that deal come back to us. We just had this, we had a deal, Kashana and I, again, I don't want to say the name, but you know who it is, Melinda. And the whole year went by. She made some good money on the stock market, called us afterwards from a drip campaign. I think Kashana hit her up. And lo and behold, now we're going to do business with her. So the concept here is just breaking it down and taking it in stages. Maybe the first month or the first 6 months, you guys really just say, all right, I'm going to do this. This whole month, I'm going to just focus on, retention for my past clients. Break it down into how many weeks do you want to, hit them up. I personally won't go more than 12 touches. Some people say that's a lot, but I have good content. I'm not patting myself on the back. I think our content's pretty deadly. I know, because we have a 26% open rate, which is staggering. Usually it's a 7% nationwide. So people like reading our content. It's very important to really digest that and understand the analytics side of it too, and just go slow with it. I don't want to sit here and say you're going to make money instantaneous on one email. You could if you're Kim Kardashian, but at the end of the day, it's very difficult to really monetize just from one email. It usually takes 3 attempts. I don't know if you guys ever did the old school ways of, we did HARP leads, or HARP deals, I should say, and those were a mailer. And the analytics on that was 3 mailers. The third one, by the time you would probably get, someone to physically call. So we do 3 attempts. Usually it's within 90 days, and then we see more of a return within the 90th day. I'll leave it with this. I just had a client say, I will get back to you. I'm already working with a real estate agent, Anthony. I hit him up 3 times. All right. That gave me the option to either call or disposition. Of course, who I am, I called and we landed that deal. This was yesterday in Pinellas County. And that's in Tampa area. The point I'm trying to make is that with that retention and that sequence and that automation in one button, you disposition that email. Obviously, now we have a deal out of it. So it's being patient with it. Go ahead, Melinda.
So there is the drip campaign, and then there's just like your monthly or weekly newsletter, right?
Yeah.
There's two different things. So maybe a newsletter could be go to everybody, right? Whoever is there, and then you could target drips to certain people based on certain stages of the sales cycle that they're in. I know an attorney. He was on our show, Justin. He has a great newsletter.
Yeah.
I think he does it monthly. I don't unsubscribe to his because I find it interesting. I like to see how he does it, and I'm studying it because I think he does them really well. And then also, it's quirky, it's humorous. Like it's like asking for advice on his vacation. He's giving tips on whatever he's doing. Like it's very different, and I think that's super interesting because. As real estate agents, I think there's a lot of value in talking about home improvement tips. You could talk about holidays and gatherings at the home. You could just get whatever is you're working on your life, and you personalize it. I think that's a great strategy for your newsletter. And then you could always throw a note, at the bottom, like kind of like some call to actions about the real estate business, but being more general in nature. Because I think that if you're just doing a regular newsletter, some of those canned stuff that you're going to have just like about, unless someone really is interested in buying, they don't want to read your information, about buying.
The other way, I've got a friend in New York that he owns like real big, it's called Empire Report. It's all for CEOs and it's all news. And he takes hyperlinks and sources them. All it is a servicing company that basically gives you access in one page to all of the links that are sourced. It makes it user friendly. I'm giving away this guy's secrets. Makes it user friendly for the consumer. So that way, if they're an avid reader and they're, they want to go to the Wall Street Journal, they want to go to New York Times, they have the ability to do one click and go to that. So that's making it easy.
So they get a blurb and then they go. So yeah, that's another thing is like bringing other resources in.
Yeah.
Right.
Not having to create the wheel. So he does that. It's just repurposing content, which doesn't take too long, but he's got a mass following from it, and he monetized that because it's a subscription base. So that's something that you guys always sit down and think. Yeah, it's badass. It's good. But Melinda said it. You got to think, and I'm taking notes here too. The newsletter is important, but if I'm an agent, you've got to think of something that is going to stand out, and to monetize that to get you a rate of return with clients. Maybe your past clients get a newsletter and you talk about, I don't know, the market trends or possibly, the rates being lowered if they want to refinance. Don't make it boring, but maybe if you're looking at new clients to try to capture them, I know Dana McCollum, you do this well. You do videos very well. Maybe talk about how you guys rock inspections. You're rolling with inspections and the downfalls that you see during an inspection. This is what you do as an agent to make yourself separate. You just got to think and be creative and sit down and just have those juices flowing when it comes to the content, because it's important. Melinda's right. You don't want to be the same person doing the same stock images that's like clear to close, approved. Yep, you do. We do that.
Those are important too. Those are useful once they're already your client. Yeah. They're useful to streamline, and you can make them your own. You could adjust them and make them your own. Or get ideas of how to do things right and make your own from that. But when it comes to a newsletter to your general list, you got to provide value. Like almost like if you're going to redo some of the plants in the front, like you could talk about curb appeal, right? For your listing, and do a newsletter just for that. Sometimes I think, man, I have so many good ideas. Maybe I should become an agent.
No, man, you gave me an idea right now that I wrote down that I'm going to start doing too, but that's it, and I feel
or see what your following is like, if you're really into restaurants or neighborhoods, you could say this weekend I'm touring this neighborhood, have a little video clips or some restaurants you try and provide value in that way. it's something else. Like that would be interesting to me, right? Like let's find out about a new really good restaurant. But you'll see what relates to you and what,
school districts, right? Everyone most likely is looking for good school districts. So possibly look at the schools and check them out and do something fun. Like go out of your way to physically, go look at the restaurant and say, hey, this is what they have on the menu. This is nearby local areas. I like it because of X, Y, Z. So I just think people relate better to that rather than just sending out some generic newsletter to try to monetize. It's not going to be effective. At least
yeah. Okay. So we always want you guys to leave with a takeaway of something you can implement, right? So if you haven't already opened a CRM and started to organize your data, go back to episode 40 and watch that. If you're listening to this live or on the replay, how do they get access to previous recordings, Anthony?
We have a YouTube channel. We have a Facebook page that went live yesterday. We had a generic page, but now we have a business page. And that is where all of our pre-recordings will be. And then after the show, you'll get an email and it has all our past recordings as well. So there's 3 sources that you can have access to get our past recordings. So we thank you for your first time being here, man. That's awesome. Cool. Thank you, guys.
We'll give you the Facebook link in the after show email with all the subscription details and show notes, etc. that we're gonna have. So so if you haven't done that, that's step number 1, because you can't really get organized with emails if you don't have that, because it's like it's a shit show. Then we need to organize a list. If you haven't already done the list project. The list project is important because you don't want people to opt out of any of your mailings, right? You want to keep them there. So you want it to be, you could have a general list for everybody, and then you have the subcategories. So you could have potential buyers, potential sellers, renters, past clients. And then you could have just like, depending if you're targeting certain niches, you could have lists based on your niches. I have business owners. If you focus on people you met at the school, for example, your kid's school, you could have a list built to little things like that. And then you decide how you want to target them later. Once you have the lists, I would say start doing a general monthly newsletter. That's the first way to get your feet wet.
So let me ask you, because I haven't used it. You said you use Google. Is there a way to track?
I don't use Google.
Well, you used to use it, right?
I use Google for my templates.
Okay.
To store my
templates.
Never mind
that. Never mind.
Yeah.
So I heard, all right. So here's my question for the agents that don't have a CRM. How do they track these emails and the analytics on that?
They don't. 50% say they don't even track. They don't even look at it.
That's an issue right there. So I honestly think the best thing that you guys can invest in, and it's cheap, is MailChimp.
70% do not track. Sorry.
Yeah, that's what I'm looking at. So all of this goes out the door if you're not tracking it. You have to track it, and just look at the analytics. You know what I mean? I think MailChimp would be the best. There's multiple things that we put down there. HubSpot's got one of them. Pigeon is great. That's Pigeon Post is badass. That is good as well. We'll give you a list too. I've got lists. Melinda has lists of email templates. Obviously, you guys are going to get that after the show, and you can cut and paste them and create templates for yourself that will help you, obviously have a better call to action with these.
Okay, so monthly newsletter.
Yeah.
The monthly newsletter would not be like just so you could put that at the bottom, but that should not be the point of your email, because I will unsubscribe or they'll just delete it. Let's be real. Unless they're in that neighborhood, they don't really care of what's sold. So you want to have that proof of concept, proof that you're doing work, right? And you could put that at the bottom, but that should not be the point of your email. Yeah. Unless you're sending a new listing email, send it to agents. Maybe if you're going to promote your listing. I don't think you need to do that nowadays, because it's
yeah, right.
Crazy. I don't think you need to do that. But the point of my discussion is that you need to do the monthly newsletter, get used to doing that. If you don't want to write it and you're good on video, do it by BombBomb. put a little extra thing on the bottom there, you know, with resources or links, or you could put your just sold or your whatever you're working on these days, but make sure that there's a different point to it so people are interested and they want to watch it. One thing I was told and I learned is that in the subject line, it's all about the subject line, right? And we're going to give you a bunch of tips for best practices for your emails. That's also going to be in the after show notes. But one other one is in the subject line to have an emoji or two.
I was just going to say that, literally just going to say that. So that brings up conversions through the roof. It's crazy. Because people relate to the emojis. They'll see, what is this about? Smiley face, finger pointing, click here. It's a focal point visually, and it just gets your attention. And so you're looking at click at the hyperlink, and it's, if you have a video to back that up, because most people are going to click on a random link. But if you have a video that's there that explains the link, your conversion rates will go through the roof. So it's key.
So build your list, general mailing newsletter for everybody. Number 3 is going to be build out templates that you're one-off emails that you're sending very often. Think about those the next month. Every email you send, I want you to think, will I be sending this email again? And if you are, just for now, just copy and paste it into a document, right? And just paste all of them, paste. And then you sit down for an hour, clean up those, make it more generalized, put the underscores where you have to fill in the data to apply to this new scenario. And then you have your template list somewhere, whether it's in Evernote or in a Google Word doc, whatever. Then from there, if you're using Google, or every platform has some version of this where you can store templates. It doesn't have to be even in a CRM. This can be just straight up in your emails. Store those emails, and this way you have a quick reaction and ability to email those things that are done on a consistent basis. Okay?
I'm trying to condense my templates. I've got so many.
You have a lot.
I have a lot, man. But I'm notorious for that. My operations team sends out something. Want a template? You want it? No, we're good. Come on, you've sent it out 3 times. What are we doing? It's the time it takes to compose that stuff is time wasted for me, at least.
Even with the newsletter, the monthly newsletter, if you build out the template, which means the visual of what it looks like, throw your logo in, just list it at the bottom, then you just pop in the new pictures, like whatever the case is, you could set up the infrastructure template, and then all you have to do is just add the tweaking of the content or the new video.
Yeah, that's great.
I think that's a super important, because it's going to be easier to go in. You don't have to recreate the wheel each time. Your email can look the same each time, like, with design and text and whatever. And then just the content is what's changing.
Yeah, without a doubt. I like that idea. And we do that too. We're freshening up emails, and the verbiage obviously has changed throughout the damage control series, but now we're doing extra bonuses and things like that, challenges, but the foundation is still there. We're using the same, meat and potatoes in terms of our foundation. That's important. I just want everyone to understand that, because I feel like a lot of agents are fearful of just getting their feet wet and being proactive about the situation. Just do it. I remember Brian Sanford was sitting right there prior to COVID, and I said, I'm going to build this system out. I'm going to do this. We're going to do that, this, and that. And he looked at me and he's like, this guy's a little bit cuckoo, man. But here we are, and it came into a reality, and it took a while. And I give that example because I don't want anyone to just think that it's going to happen overnight. Emails are important, but you need to start somewhere, and you need to get a list. Melinda's correct. She's notorious about lists. She lists everything, which I love. We just did a list with our marketing team as well, to keep them organized on what they need to do. Same concept. Who are you going to market? Who is it going to go out to? What's the content? What are you going to try to either repurpose or create on your own? You don't have to create on your own, man.
Okay, recapping one more time, because I'm going to add one more. You're going to organize your email lists. You're going to do a monthly newsletter. You're going to build out a template for that monthly newsletter. You're going to build out the templates for the emails that you're doing on a consistent basis and adding them to your email platform, whatever you're using. And then you got to decide which list you're going to target first. What list is going to convert you fastest, right? Everyone talks about long game. Long game is important. You got to fill your long game pipeline, but it's even more important to focus on your short game, because if you don't have short game, your long game doesn't matter because you ain't going to survive.
Yeah.
Right? So short game, what is going to convert you the best now? So if you have any cold leads, maybe that's something, right? Or possible buyers, possible listings, maybe you want to build something for that. Maybe you want to build something for tenants that you've assisted. Maybe you want to build something for your buyers from 4 or 5 years ago that maybe you want to sell, right?
Yeah.
And there's different strategies for each of those lists on how to convert them. But you need to, or if you have a FISBO list, or if you have whatever, an expired list, I don't know, whatever list you have, if you've paid for lists, there's different ways you can build your lists. But picking one, building out a drip for one. And the idea of a drip is to like build, right? You have one email that the emails build on each other to bring them to a point to either call you or email you and have a connection based on what you're able to service them with.
So let me just say one thing. I personally wouldn't buy any lists. And I know, Melinda, you don't buy lists either. You're all about organic. It's hard to do that, but it's easier. Like we told you in the last series, a CRM, you can have everything come in, and you need to organize the data. So you can allow the floodgates to open up and have all these people come in with their email, which we did. And we had 40,000 contacts, and we condensed it to 20,000 because it was too much. So that is something that you can try to spike your lists, and that's a good way of doing it through your CRM. The other thing too is your videos. I just want to touch up on this is that they shouldn't be long. They should be short, maybe under a minute, no longer than 2 minutes, concise, to the point, direct about what your content's about. You don't want to go too long because you're going to lose people. That's a no-brainer.
And you don't want to get too structured. Have a conversation like how we're doing right now.
Yeah.
Like very conversational in your video, as if someone's just asked you a question. This way it's more relaxed, and you'll be more flexible with how you're showing up in the video. But you don't have to do video. Don't use that as an excuse. Why not to do that? You could do just text if you want to. But some people, like for me, like it gets daunting to have to draft more content sometimes. So doing a video, I could just pop on and do a video and get it out. So that's why I like about that. And I feel like everyone's getting text emails, so video is a little different.
Well,
so
that's the email that we just got. I already have a real estate agent. How am I supposed to email back on that? I can't. You can't take the context out of the tonality. So a video needs to go to that gentleman saying why I can be beneficial for him as a consumer or borrower in this case. The video is deadly, but sure. That was right. You don't need to just go into video.
You need to just do something, right? So if most of you are not really doing anything based on the polls or anything too structured yet, so getting stuff in place, just getting used to doing them, and then eventually you can get on and have video or whatever else you want to do. So now we're speaking of lists. How do you grow your lists, right? So there's different ways you can grow your list. I've grown my list through going to events, sponsoring events, attending events, networking with other professionals through the years. When you get a business card, they get added immediately to the list. Now, this is the last few years. Before that, I had bags of business cards, and one day I just gave up on them and I threw them out, which was a stupid thing. Yeah, I had like thousands that I've collected in my probably first 5, 6 years of being in business. And I was like, what am I going to do with these things? I was at a different mindset back then. I'm like, what am I going to do with these things? I'm never going to look at them again.
Scan it. You can just scan it, and it's right in.
But one thing I want to remind you guys is that we think, and we give a lot of importance to our followers and our connections and our friends on social media, but that can be taken from you any day now, right? Yeah. They could change the rules. And then all of a sudden, or like there's those glitches that happen with the account. Someone steals, hacks your account. You don't have access to anymore. So it's super important that you take the following you have on social and bring it out to your mailing list, because that's the only real marketing you own, are your lists.
Yeah.
So by pulling out people from social media into your mailing list, you get to own that contact, right? Because you don't own
Very
it an Instagram follower. So you got to figure out different creative ways to build that list. So you got to see who your following is, what they're interested in. For us, like one way I've always built my list is like promoting my events, because with there you have to register, and then that's how I get your contact information. So that's how I built my list when it comes to real estate agents. When it comes to other, like, give something that they have to give you the email to get it back.
value.
So right now, there's so many ways to do like the quick 5 tips or 10 tips to prep your house to be listed.
And
Have that.
here's a tip that I've
How to
been
get
doing.
ready to purchase a home.
What I would give and recommend is, if you guys store, I mean, this is simple, this is common sense. You store the client, okay? Every client that I speak to, every client, I store their first, last name, email, and phone number, and then I put on their client. I've been doing that since, I shit you not, like I think it was since Verizon opened, man. It was really, really long ago. And I have probably almost 20,000 contacts in my phone. I knew one day I would be able to import, export that. And that's the way I spiked my follow with clients, past clients. So if I'm an agent, that's right there is a secret tip that I would say, look, that's your starting point. Who can organize that for you and put it in your CRM?
That's a great strategy, and a lot of people that work that really well. Another thing is when you're importing Google contacts into like a MailChimp, they'll pull all those people that have been in there. You're gonna have to clean that up, because there's probably some people in there you don't want like to remind, like, you know, like there's like that pissed off client maybe, or that like for me, when I used to divorce, I had like mean opposing counsel, like in those first few years. So you want to pull out those people from there, and then clean that up. But there's like through years, it's amazing how much is stored in that CRM.
Yeah.
You know, in that email, like Google just remembers people. You know, you even if they're not a contact, you search someone's name, they remember. It's because you've contacted them before. So you're able to extract that when you're exporting contacts. And with that, that's how you can. When I did that like 5 years ago, I had thousands in MailChimp because of that.
Really?
Now I pulled them out because I'm not mailing those people, because I don't have, they're not the people that are going to grow my business. So I'm not focusing on that random mishmash list. Really, I'm being very targeted when I do send a newsletter. And it's basically, you guys probably all get it. I'll get my newsletters if you're subscribed to the show, and it's for me providing value to you as real estate agents. So you have to be very intentional on what you're doing and not wasting your energy on things that are going to bring you nothing back.
Without a doubt. Just like buying leads or not buying leads, or, you know, open houses or not doing open house, whatever you guys do that's trying to make you money. But I mean, at the end of the day, you really need to understand that if you can't read the analytics of it, you're really gonna flop, man. So you really need to start slower. And I would recommend MailChimp. I think it's a great tool. I know a lot of people.
And MailChimp integrates with so many different platforms.
Everything. It's cheap. It's reasonable. It's great.
It's free up until 2,000 contacts.
Yeah.
So most of you can start with that, and then, you know, take it from there.
There's a question for you. Evernote. Do you pay for Evernote, or do you use?
I don't. I use the free version. No, that's not true. I pay for it now because I have it on more than 3 platforms, and I have it as a team. So I have other team members who we share notes with. So because we're a bigger group now. So I do have quite a bit. And then I have my personal side. So my husband and I have our personal notes, and then I have the business side, and then I share certain folders with certain people. And it's really just like a notebook with multiple pages, and I scan everything there. All my tax returns are in there. I keep everything in there, more so than Dropbox, because it's a much more user-friendly to search.
Really? I do Dropbox, but interesting.
Yeah.
Cool, man. Any questions? Does anyone have any questions?
Someone had, how do you add an emoji with the desktop in the subject line? There are codes for that.
You've got
if you Google that, just Google, how do you add emojis with the on a computer to a subject line, and that's how you'll do it.
Windows period. The Windows key period.
Hold on. I'm trying it, and it works. Look at that. Windows, I just learned something.
Yeah.
Windows key period. If you're on an Apple, it's probably the Apple with a period, but you could just Google it.
Yeah.
It's amazing how much a quick Google question will provide to you.
Yeah.
So that's something that you can definitely do if you're using a different platform.
Everyone's pressing Windows period right
for sure.
now. Let me put it in the chat. Hold on.
Yes. So we have a few other more private questions. If you're newly subscribed or just watching this, just remember after every show, we do send a recording with any extra resources, materials, and notes that we've created for the topic. And Anthony, we do have some things we're going to give best practices and tips for your email campaigns. We have some scripts, right, for them?
Yeah, we've got scripts on objections and also template scripts that we're going to be sending you. And do you want to talk about the challenge in a little bit?
Yes. Oh my goodness. Thank goodness.
And what about next week? Should we hint on what, I mean, we've got, or 2 weeks from now, actually.
Okay, so let's talk about what's cooking before we wrap up.
A lot of good stuff.
March 10th, which is next week, we are starting our 100-day challenge to do 10 calls a day. 10 calls a day for 100 days will build your pipeline, get you in the routine, and get you out of your head when it comes to making your calls. So Anthony just put the link to subscribe to and join the 100-day challenge. We're going to jump over to Facebook really quick right now and add the link there. And this way, if you're catching this live streaming, you'll have access to that link as well. This challenge will give you some additional scripts, voicemail scripts, and we will have access to our private Facebook group just for our challenge attendees. And we will have additional trainings, some live calls done by Anthony, and more great things to come. We will probably be giving out some prizes to some of our winners. We'll figure out what that's going to look like soon. But the idea of why are we doing 10 calls for 100 days, Anthony? Please explain that.
So it becomes habitual after the 90th day when you do anything, and I'm proof of concept on that. So with working out, eating right, breaking bad habits, after the 90th day, psychologically, you're in a better place. And for you to go back to the old habit and saying, look, let me just go back to the old habit, not closing business, you're not going to do that, right? You're going to want to remain that healthy lifestyle and that healthy pipeline, hopefully. So I don't want to think that it's going to be easy. I promise you it will be very difficult. 10 calls a day might not seem like a lot today, but when you're on your 70th day, that shit gets very tiring. All right. So you will have a massive pipeline. It's inevitable. It's impossible. It's like guaranteed. And when you see that and you see your pipeline and you're seeing the fruits of your labor saying, wow, look at this, what I've created, you're going to start seeing that turn, that turn in that corner in the light of the tunnel after, 60.
Because you're starting to see the results, right? Consistency brings the results, but a lot of people quit before the results start to flourish.
Yeah.
That's the majority of business owners will quit and they're right around the corner from starting to see results.
Yeah.
So we want to keep you stick to that thing. So now, one very good question in the chat is the discount code. So if you're a member of Women's Council of Broward, or if you're a YPN Pro, you get, there's a discount code. So DM us to quality control the perks that we're putting out, and we're happy to share that code with you. And then next week we have Don't Be a Deal Killer. That's our episode for next week. And then the week after that,
awesome. That's going to be good.
Yeah.
And that's going to be fun.
The week after that is March Marketing Madness. So we will have an episode every day on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. So that Monday is the 15th. So the 15th, every day, I want you guys to block off your calendar, 11 to 12. We will have an episode every day. We're bringing in experts from the social media marketing world for you guys. We're going to be talking about social media, growing your team, growing your following, Clubhouse, marketing systems, repurposing your content. Those are like the biggies, right? So, and then there's going to be really good nuggets in all of those. And we're building this out for you guys because it's March. We want to We did it last year, March Marketing Madness. I love.
It was awesome last year, and
Last
now
year
I
we
guess,
did one day, a bunch of people at once.
dude, it was awesome. It was awesome.
great.
Everyone
This
attended.
year-
Now we have it like the whole week, and we've got how many people? We have like how many guest speakers? 5, right? Amazing.
We have
or
a
6?
different guest for every day, people that
Yeah.
we've reached out to for different reasons, and they have either huge followings or great strategies or
Yeah.
lots of other good stuff. So
Yeah.
stay tuned for that. If you're subscribed to Damage Control, you'll automatically be subscribed and given the reminder with the link and the times, etc. For those, and also the replays. If you are not subscribed, you need to subscribe to have access to that. So you'll be seeing all that if you're catching this on the streaming. And then don't forget, there's a lot of goodies that people give out. So if you're subscribed, you're gonna get their goodies.
Yeah.
And our
Yeah.
goodies. If you're not subscribed, you don't get the goodies.
We just went to the YPN and spoke there, and one of the guest speakers, they've got some good content. So yeah, it's gonna be awesome. I'm pumped. We've got some really good speakers, and I'm looking forward to it, to taking
Me
notes.
too. I always learn.
Of course.
I always learn. All right, guys, with that being said, that's a wrap for today. Join us in the 100-day challenge. Join us next week for Don't Be a Deal Killer. And of course, our March Marketing Madness. We're always looking to have new ideas. If you guys have anything you want to learn about or have discussed on the show, we're always open for that. So have an amazing, amazing rest of your day. Let's make it a productive weekend, and talk to you guys soon.
Thanks, guys. Thanks.
Bye.
Bye.